Here we go. Welcome to Kirby Month, with my first episode, Kirby's Adventure Review. On the NES. So, here we go. Kirby's Adventure, a 2D platformer. Yeah, sorry, I'm struggling with something to say first. But I think it's easy to state that this is one of the first Kirby games ever made. In fact, it actually introduced a lot to the series. For one, longer levels, and, actual worlds that are not just levels. But we all at this point know what this game added to the series the most beneficial. Copy abilities. This particular Kirby game is the first one to include the copy abilities, which allow Kirby to, of course, inhale those he defeats in battle, and utilize their abilities for his own. That's a pretty great idea, though it does lead to some issues. Most of the abilities are just one move. That is it. Just one move. And as such, they are very small compared to what we have nowadays. But it does work for an NES game. And it's actually pretty challenging. You can already probably tell I'm taking quite a bit of damage, which I wouldn't really be taking in any other Kirby game. And that's something I personally appreciate. This Kirby game is actually kind of hard. But if there's anything you can complain about, it's that it kind of gets annoying at times. And it's also hard for reasons that are not good. For one, the floating controls are not good. To jump, you press A. And nowadays, you hold A and then mash it to float. In this game, you jump with A and float with up, which is very disorienting compared to how it is nowadays. It probably would work it probably would still work if it was like this nowadays, but the fact that they changed it to something much better can be a little off-putting when you play this game. And as you've probably already noticed, Kirby's Adventure suffers from slowdown. And there we go. It's a very bad game when it comes to fast-paced stuff. If there's too much going on screen, it will start to stagger. And it gets very noticeable, to the point where it makes you feel like you're playing Nintendo Switch Online. And the irony is, you've probably been able to tell, I am playing this on Nintendo Switch Online. And of course, there's the goal game that they added. That's not as important. But yeah, the game has slowed down, and you're probably going to notice it many times in this review. The level design itself for a platformer is quite fun. I wouldn't exactly say it's amazing level design, comparable to games like Triple Deluxe or Forgotten Land. But it is good, and it suffices. I especially love parts that were particularly made for specific abilities, like the laser section in early Rainbow Resort, or the sections built for Wheel. They're actually quite fun, and very well designed to be built around those abilities. The problem is, the rest of the level design is kind of unremarkable. But now let's talk about the thing every Kirby game pretty much gets right. How is this game's music? You can already probably tell there are a lot of good tunes. But most of the tunes you've been hearing are not the best ones in the game. I'll probably play a few of my personal favorites near the end of the review. But basically what I'm saying is, this is a solid game. But an overarching theme of this review is that it has not aged well. This particular entry really does show it's an NES game, with strangely increased difficulty for its genre, or at least the series. Most of everything they do just being better done by other entries. I'm not all saying this game is bad. For an NES game, it's pretty great. But it's very ambitious and it leads to problems. Like I said, there's the slowdown, which is very annoying. And it's best to describe this game as trying to port Skyrim to the Switch. Well, no, trying to port Skyrim to the Wii U or Xenoblade Chronicles to the DS or something. It's gonna work, but it's got problems. But as it suffices, it's a solid game that I would recommend trying out if you're a Kirby historian. There are a lot of things they could, though, fix in some sort of remake. And, oh wait, there was! I forgot there was Nightmare in Dreamland. But unfortunately, since I don't have a working Game Boy or anything, I can't play Nightmare in Dreamland. So, this is definitely a more accessible game, but if you want a high-quality game, it's probably more worth it to go out of your way and get Nightmare in Dreamland. Oh yeah, and the plot is alright. It's actually one of the only times Dedede is not really an awful person or doing anything wrong. And I like that for a plot, as Dedede simply steals the Star Rod, but it turns out at the end he's all in the right. But overall, it also leads to a pretty good and really hard final battle for a Kirby game. Like, the Battle of Nightmare is pretty dang tough. Overall, though, this is quite fun. And if there's anything else I want to mention, it's really not much. So, it's about time I head off to the sound test and show you some of the best tunes in this game. So, I'm going to go play some sounds, some music from this game. Okay. Music. This is one of my favorites, right here. Hey, Mom!
I love you.
Vegetable Valley. An absolute classic. Considering this was my first Kirby game I played on one of my own consoles, this more than suffices for a Stage 1. And it's become a rightful classic for many reasons. Hello? Nope. Ah, this game's variation of Green Greens is another very, very good one. So I'm gonna let that play for a bit. And another variation. Boss. Okay, I think this is gonna play Nightmare's theme. And it's another mob. See ya. Okay, nope. There we go. This is Nightmare's theme. So I'm gonna let this play too, because this is really good. Ah. What? Nothing's playing. What happened? There we go. This is it, guys. This is my favorite song in the entire game. Rainbow Resort. And that's where we're going to end off this review, along with my official opinion. Kirby's Adventure is a very good game, at least for the start of the series. It's very clear this game suffers from first game syndrome, despite not being the first game. So if you're a Kirby historian and want to see the start of where copy abilities are, I'd recommend going and playing this one right now. There are issues that can honestly be really off-putting to your experience, like the slowdown, and how this compares to older games. But if you think about this game in its own vacuum, it's a pretty good NES game. So basically, Kirby's Adventure for my overall series ranking that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to put it right at the top. But we've only played one game so far, so it may not stay up there for long. That ends my first part to my Kirby's Adventure review. I will see you soon. When we review, we're probably going to do a lyrical version or reviewing Superstar. I'll see you next time.